About 1 in 8 men will be diagnosed with prostate cancer during their lifetime, according to the American Cancer Society. But each man's risk of prostate cancer can vary based on his age, race, ethnicity, and other factors. For example, prostate cancer is more likely to develop in older men, and about 6 in 10 prostate cancers are diagnosed in men who are 65 or older, and it is rare in men under 40. The probability of prostate cancer risk is also higher in African American men and in Caribbean men of African ancestry than in men of other races. Jamaican men have an unusually high incidence of prostate cancer. It is the largest cause of cancer death in the island among males and females. But Jamaica also has a good prostate cancer survival rate. And here to share their stories with us are members of Brothers United Against Prostate Cancer. Welcome, gentlemen. And so who we have this evening are Richard Reese, Major Richard Reese, I should say, Mike Giardini, who is the chairman or president of this group, and of course, Mr. Quinton Yard.
Thanks for having us, hosting us. We are Brothers United Against Prostate Cancer. We are here basically as evangelists to spread the word, to encourage all our Jamaican men to get screened early. Our mission statement, as you asked, is to provide a nurturing environment for Jamaicans interested in addressing the physical, spiritual, and emotional issues surrounding prostate cancer survival, thereby advancing men's health and the ability to live fruitful lives. So it really is about sending out information that is properly researched and verified, and getting the word out to, for our Jamaican brothers really to pay close attention to our prostate health.
Michael, you how long a survivor are you?
Oh, I am a survivor in excess of 13 years. Thankfully.
13 years?
Yes.
Wow.
I think I moved now from a survivor to a striver.
A striver. I love that. Well, listen, I'm going to turn to you now, Quinton. Can you quickly tell us how long a survivor you are, but also tell us what are some of the important issues relating to detecting early the whole matter of prostate cancer?
Right. So got diagnosed in 2019. Did surgery June of that year. Did radiation in March 2020, and I have been cancer-free ever since. So it's 4.5 to 5 years post my diagnosis. The critical thing I'd say to all men is to be tested, do your prostate exam regularly. And it's better to do the test than not to do the test. So if you can't do the dreaded DRE, please do the blood test. But once you hit 40, get tested. If you have a history of cancer in your family, get tested. And the one thing I want to tell you is that prostate cancer, when caught early, has a 96% recovery rate. Any issue you have with your prostate is not necessarily cancerous.
Right.
Yeah, and we are not doctors, but who sees it knows it, That's commonly available information. So what tends to happen is many men, when they think they have an issue with their prostate, they immediately think the worst.
There are a number of things that can be happening with your prostate. The common thing in Jamaica, you hear about blockage, stoppage of water. right? That doesn't mean that you have prostate cancer, right? The key thing is, as Quinton so eloquently said, we are not doctors, but there are several other things that can be happening. And I say, even when you do the PSA, the prostate specific antigen, that's what PSA means. That's a blood test that he mentioned. You do that at a lab. The lab then checks. And based on that reading, that would tell the doctors, the medical professionals, it gives an indication as to what may be happening. Now, that is why we ask people to do the testing early. That creates each one of us as what will know. That first reading is what becomes your baseline reading.
Yes, with my journey or my experience would have been 8 years. I have been under active surveillance since 2015 or early 2014. And that really started with an enlarged prostate, with the challenges Michael spoke to of urgency, frequency, and obstruction. The feeling at that time was that it was chronic bladder stone disease, and stone was removed from the bladder, 2 centimeters large. And I also did a TURP at the same time, which is to cut out the inside of the prostate, and all of my worries were over. Within 1 year, I produced another stone of 2 centimeters. And going forward, the area that was incised, that was tested, and my urologist then in 2017 recommended that I do a biopsy. That was done at UM Sylvester. That would have come out at least in 6. And that's a measurement in terms of the cancer reading. I'm not a medical person, but I'll describe it that way. And they continued with active surveillance. So from 2015 all the way to 2023, I have been doing 6 monthly PSA checks, scans, etc. Fast forward to 2023, because my PSA would have fallen from 4 to 1 when I did the TURP, and then it moved back to 4. And in 2023, it moved from 4.7 to 9.6 in the space of 6 months. And the urologist then said, look, this is an indicator. We now need to do scans, 3 Tesla MRIs, etc., which led to a biopsy in February. And the result was 23% of 1 of 12 samples was grade 8, Gleason 8. 1 sample was deemed suspicious, and the options now were a prostatectomy or radiotherapy. He said his term was that it was early and in my favor. I opted for targeted radiation. I must interject here to say that we have to be mindful of YouTube, because once I got diagnosed with a biopsy, I became a YouTube addict. I think I must have viewed about 70 or 80 YouTube videos on radiation. Just to share though that technology is improving at a very fast rate. So the targeted radiation that I received, there were no side effects. I, however, received hormone therapy since April, prior to the radiation in August. And so far, I am doing fairly well in terms of coping with that. And I hope that with my review in February, I would come off the Eligard injections. Yes, so treatment, early detection and treatment also costs less than if you were to develop cancer to the point of, more extensive intervention. So support diet, exercise, changing your lifestyle. And I'm really happy that I have been diligent since leaving the military with annual medicals. And of course, partners in particular can encourage us to do the testing and also encourage to do the intervention, because in some instances there's that whole business of reassurance, because you're going into uncharted waters.
Yeah.
And
The ladies, the women are critical. Where some men, we might say, boy, you keep at me sort of thing. When it does come to our health, because I suppose it's us, well, I would want to think it's regretful. It has a lot to do with socialization, that men not supposed to suffer, men not supposed to complain and blah, blah, blah. But I'd want to say that those close to you, your significant other, they will notice you getting up, probably going to bed, to the bathroom more frequently. They will hear the reduced urine flow or interrupted urine flow. And the more educated they are, the better for us all. Because I know if any of us, our daughter said to us, come daddy, we're going to the doctor, we're not going to say no, right? The women play a vital role. And I can tell you from personal experience, my wife was very, very, continues to be very, very supportive.
Talk to us a bit more about, Richard mentioned in passing, any of you talk to us a bit more about the balanced lifestyle, exercise, and that. To what extent are you required to be doing that to remain cancer free?
I benefited from a presentation by Professor Aiken and one of his associates through the support group, and also advice from my urologist. And the message is that even to those men who have not yet been diagnosed and those who have been diagnosed, it is critical that you develop a healthy diet prior to developing anything else, because that in itself ensures that you have a healthier life. So the excesses that I would have engaged in terms of alcohol, in terms of red meat, in terms of excess starch, etc. I have reverted now to fish. I've reverted to more vegetables, more fruits, more grains, and
Really?
I have reverted to more water. So having been diagnosed with chronic bladder stone disease, the water and the lime juice mixed with the water is now my new beverage. And of course, I drink tea. Now, you can't easily adapt to those diets overnight.
Yes.
So I adapted to it before. Of course, the transition will be easier. Now, I'm really forced to make that change. And with the hormone injections that I'm receiving, there is loss of muscle tone. So I have to now be even more rigorous with my exercise regime. So this should be a part of our daily life, whether we are diagnosed or not. But certainly, once you're diagnosed, you have to change your eating habits, your exercise.
The whole issue of reducing your dairy intake. One of the things that, well, I am certainly convinced, and a number of us have been to, is reduction of stress.
Mm-hmm.
You really do need to find ways to relax, and walking, preferably in a group, but 3-4 times a week at least. Getting that fresh air, just going out there. And remember too, when you're exercising, whichever form it takes, it allows you to your body to get tired and hopefully improve your sleep, because your sleep quality is a fairly good indicator of your state of health.
That the support group help. Tell me some more, Mike, about the support group and how one can join it, and what are some of the activities you're engaging in terms of supporting prostate cancer survivors.
Hi. Thank you again, Byron. Basically, we have not gotten into a thing where we're charging any fees or anything like this. Right now, we're into just forming a coalition to educate people. We have a website we have a number of ways of reaching out. I will ask Quinton to elaborate on those because he's more or less our PR person. But we just if, for instance, you're thinking you're having questions about your health and feel to talk to somebody, you can contact us through the Jamaica Cancer Society. We are an affiliate of them.
Thank you. We want to do the $64 million question, which is, I see Richard dropping me a note here. The whole matter of libido. How does this treatment for prostate cancer impact and affect the sex life? Not just about the man, but also the spouse. Who's going to jump in that first and tell us how does that affect the sex drive and sexual performance?
Yes. Well, I think a lot depends on what your intervention was in terms of treatment and, of course, the outcomes. But just speaking as a layperson who would have done radiation, I didn't have any adverse effects for my radiation treatment and the subsequent tests that were done. In terms of my hormone injections, however, I first was prescribed tablets for the first 2 months, and that laid me low. Then I was put on injection, and the doctor also prescribed certain vitamins, certain tablets. I know some people are put on like 5 milligrams of Cialis daily, and then you would take maybe another tablet an hour before. So there are interventions too in terms of medication. I would have learned from one of the members of the support group that there are certain internal exercises that you also have to practice. And of course, you also have to have a considerate and encouraging partner because it's a process. And after you have finished your treatment, certain levels of recovery, of course, take time.
Great, thank you. And I suspect there's also the psychological aspect of it where you think that, boy, what happened to me, boy, I can't go through.
That is the biggest part. That is the biggest part of it because the phrase that was used earlier, like some fatal something another, whatever, that's it. Everybody think this is the end of the world, right? This is the end of the world. It's not. It's not at all.
All right, thanks much. Let's move to the area of, you just raised it a while ago, Michael, and again, anyone of the team members can jump in, but the matter of the cost and the financing of the treatment for prostate cancer. Give me some feedback on that. Share with us.
You can, dependent on your condition and what your health professional in consultation with you determine, there are several different approaches, but the cost only gets higher when you have not detected it earlier. That's all I can say.
And there are excellent facilities and treatment options locally. In fact, Jamaica, I think, supports the region generally in terms of radiation therapy.
Yes.
Yes. For my part, I think I would have estimated my treatment locally and overseas to be topping about 7 million so far. And just to share with you, I mean, one injection can be 1,475 US, and that would be monthly.
I think another thing we need to say to men and everyone, the earliest, I wasn't a believer in insurance, but as soon as you work, purchase a policy that you can afford. Because as you grow older, you're going to find that your body will require tests, require maintenance. And no matter how small your insurance policy is, it makes a difference.
I see Richard with that tongue-in-cheek comment here. Some of us spend more on our cars and pastimes than on our health.
So apart from the annual checks, It is the maintenance of this with the diet and the exercise. But if you look at all the worldly possessions, which you can't really, oftentimes we really don't spend enough on ourselves or our family, in terms of health.